Hello all and welcome to Movie Bears Podcast TV. I'm Brad Harrison, sort of regularly, maybe once a month, maybe twice a month. Depends on our schedules, season, right?
We like to give people a semi, is what we say.
There we go.
Yeah, that's our new slogan.
MBP TV, giving people a semi. You know it. You know it. Well, I am joined by my fantastic co-hosts. You know him, you love him. It's actually his birthday today, and he is podcasting with us. Casey Scott, happy birthday and welcome.
Thank you. I'm very happy to be here.
Casey.
I'm 32 years young, and when I remembered that Tuesday was my birthday, I said, "Oh my God, this is a great way to spend my birthday." I'm excited. Yeah, it's fun, of course.
Yeah. Well, we are honored that you are spending part of your special day with us. It's so good to see you.
Thank you for having me.
Of course. We always love to have you.
On
the show.
I don't hear that a lot, so that means a lot.
Let's get that in an audio clip form, soundbite form.
That's right.
That'll be his ringtone.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, goodness. Stephen Heslin is here with us as well. Stephen, welcome.
What?
Woo.
Hey.
Awesome.
Holla back.
Ain't no holla back, Heslin. Dude, hashtag holla back Heslin.
Oh, I like that.
That'll be my new website.
Your new Twitter tag is holla back Heslin.
Totally. Well, guys, we have a fun show this week. We are going to be discussing the first 2 episodes of Robert Kirkman's newest entry in the Walking Dead franchise, Fear the Walking Dead. And we'll also be dishing up a little bit of MeTV. We'll let you know what we've been watching lately. Summer TV season, I don't know. Fall is coming. Fall is coming, thank goodness. Mm-hmm. But we've got a lot to talk about. Are you guys ready to dive in?
Absolutely.
Yes, sir.
Mm-hmm.
All right, then here we go. Our discussion of AMC's Fear the Walking Dead. Da 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 da. Oh my God! I have the Entertainment Tonight theme endlessly on repeat in my head. I don't know why. Okay.
You need to work on your Mary Hart delivery. You have it down actually. You just need to do her weird robot voice.
I'll totally be like. And Entertainment Tonight.
Yeah, exactly. You have to do the swivel in. Yeah.
Totally. Well, Steven, why don't you kick this one off for us? I think we've been talking a lot about The Walking Dead on this show, and we knew that this one was coming, and we were kind of like, is it too much? Is it not? What are your initial impressions? What do you think? Is this a good entry?
Well, it's I'm glad we're reviewing 2 episodes because at first I was thinking like, what's the point of this show? Because it's a prequel, but it's not like a prequel with the characters that we like. It's just sort of telling the story leading up to, the world falling apart sort of thing, and it's sort of like why we already know what's going to happen. So that was, when it was first announced, I was kind of confused as to why they were doing it. The pilot episode starts off with this wafy model-esque drug-addicted or something in this like Jim Morrison pose, like slow motion thing, wandering through a church, and then he sees his girlfriend basically being a zombie, and then runs out of the church and gets hit by a car, and everyone doesn't believe him because he's a drug addict. And so he's kind of freaking out, like, was it real? Was it the drugs? I don't know. And then there's also this melodrama with his mom and her boyfriend and the daughter and the boyfriend's son who doesn't want to be with him that weekend even though it's his weekend. And, and there's all these, this undercurrent of rumors of things happening that people aren't understanding. But the main focus of the whole first episode is this melodrama between these family dynamics, and I hated it. Hated it. It was like, why are we watching this melodrama? I don't care about these people yet. Like, this makes no sense. On top of it, they kept on alluding to zombies, and there were all these shots of like people walking slowly. Then all of a sudden it would speed up. Oh no, it really wasn't zombies. It was real people. We tricked you. We got you.
Right.
And then the whole time it's like, I don't know what it is. Oh my god! And then they would do this shot of like the guy, turning into a zombie, and everyone would be freaking out. It's like, yeah, we know this is a prequel to your zombie show. We know there's going to be zombies. This isn't a big surprise to us. Get on with it. It was just so stupid to me, and I was like, oh my god, if this whole season is going to be long and drawn out, I'm going to be pissed. But luckily the second episode came along, and shit hits the fan really fast. And so they're already starting to amp up the tension, amp up the pacing, and it's definitely getting much better. Although they did trap a few of our main characters in this like barber shop, so they're literally just trapped inside with everything else happening outside. And it's like, oh god, don't trap your characters in a small space. It's just kind of a waste. Yeah.
Well, I would say real quick before we go any further, because we do have people that just hopped on. No worries, we're good. We're gonna spoil it. We're gonna spoil it. Yeah. So at this point,
there really aren't any spoilers because it's like the show is like up to where it's gonna go. So
well, at this point, we haven't spoiled anything that's not been in the trailers for the episode, so I think we're probably okay. But Steven, so do you think this is one that you're gonna continue watching then?
Yeah, definitely. I think the second episode gave me a lot more hope of what the show could be. It definitely, if it was based on the pilot episode, I would even say if I hadn't watched if The Walking Dead didn't exist and Fear the Walking Dead, the pilot, had aired, I would not have even I wouldn't have even given this show a chance. But luckily, they have this whole ecosystem that we've all bought into. And so, we're willing to give it a chance. And the second episode was much better than the first.
All right. In my opinion. Well, Casey, Mr. Birthday Boy, how about you?
Yeah, I would agree with Steven's kind of. I didn't hate the first episode, but it didn't need to be 90 minutes because that extra 30 minutes didn't give us anything extra that I don't think couldn't have been done in an hour. I was not as against all of the characterization and development, so to speak. My thing about it was that there were so many, it was very cliched. And the tween romance with the daughter and her boyfriend was, it's irritating. It's kind of like, oh my god. And I would have loved it if they'd done something a little different, like, I don't know, maybe have it be a lesbian relationship or something, or something a little different than just two, tweens who are like, we're just so beautiful, and we're in our own little world, and we're just above all of this. And I was like, oh my god, okay, we've seen this on every fucking CW show. Like, we don't need to see this on AMC. Thanks. I like the drug addict son character, actually. I think he's a good actor. I think that's probably what it is. We've all seen the drug addict character before, and where they kind of become, well, his addiction is obviously going to be, a huge albatross around the neck for the rest of at least this season, because it's like, okay, we have to watch this guy have to kick it. And my brother I was watching it with was actually like, okay, I'm calling it. Someone on the outside is going to see him going through withdrawals and think that he's turning or whatever. It's going to be a big thing. So it's like, yeah, that's probably going to happen. So, and if it does happen, then that doesn't bode well for the predictability of the show.
Yeah. Maybe someone will just shoot him in the head and end that character.
Oh my god,
that would be cool. I mean,
I think the acting all around, I think, is stronger than it was in the pilot for Walking Dead. I've never been an Andrew Lincoln fan. I think he's totally over the top and not great. But I love Kim Dickens, who's the central character on this show. There was something in the second episode that I noticed that was really just irritated me, where, the guidance counselor and her student, who sort of foresaw this because he was a loner addicted to the internet, because they always know stuff that nobody else does.
Yeah.
So they have all of this food, and then they have to take out the principal. and then they leave, and they don't have any of the shit that they had.
I
with
thought the
I
same
know.
thing.
I
I'm
was
like,
know.
the whole point.
Excuse me. Yeah, exactly. I was like, are you serious? Did you guys shoot this like months apart, and the continuity person was on vacation or something?
Yeah.
I was like, are you fucking kidding me? So that kind of bothered me. I also didn't like. I'm really tired of the use of slow motion on shows like this. It's like,
Yeah.
slow motion is supposed to be used to add gravity to a situation, and when it's used so much, it doesn't mean anything. It's just like it's just a film school technique that is like trying to show off or something. But generally, I really last night's the second episode was way better than the first. Because it's escalating, the pace is better. You kind of know who these characters are. You understand their relationships with each other. I'm liking the brother and sister dynamic. You can see that there is affection there, but it's kind of like, okay, she's known that he's been an addict for how long, so she doesn't want to get too attached because she thinks he's going to run off or die. And I liked, the fact that she didn't go off after her doomed boyfriend and had to stay and sort of take care of him. Yeah, I really liked it. There are still some kinks that need to be worked out in terms of writing. But overall, I think it's not bad. I think it's pretty promising so far. So I'm definitely going to keep watching it.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. I think.
Whoa.
I think for me.
Oh, I say what
I
was
think
that?
for me.
Oh my god! Oh my god! Deer in the headlights look.
So if you're
Oh my
listening
God.
to this, if you're listening to this,
Seamless transition.
if you're listening to this in iTunes or Stitcher, you're not seeing my merry heart.
Oh my god!
What was the Godzilla before that?
Oh,
I know. It was like Godzilla
from-
was killing Brad and replacing him.
that was from last night. I found this new program called Eyeglasses.
Oh my god!
Let you add pictures or GIFs
Yeah.
for your picture, which is really funny.
Oh, I like that.
I'll show you one more. This is the one I was using on the MBP TV or Movieverse podcast last night. That had him rolling.
Oh, I love that.
Beyonce
That's-
cow.
That's
Beyonce cow.
I like
Anyway, so for me, guys, I think I'm probably going to echo some of what you guys have said a little bit. I think that first episode was not a super strong showing for me.
Right.
And there are a lot of reasons why. I like character development a lot. It's one of my big things. I love it in shows that do it well. But I agree. I feel like 90 minutes was just... It was too much. It gave us too much time to try and dive into some of this stuff. And I'm like, holy mother of God, can we please just, have something happen?
Right.
Seriously, come on, right? And at the end, we got it, and it's like, okay, this is kind of interesting. But, Steven, I think I really agree with you. I think it's hard, right? Knowing what's coming, already knowing about the zombies and how to kill the zombies and what's happening to the world, right? It's kind of like, okay, well, we already have this information. So are you going to make it a slog as we watch the characters find this information out? Or are you going to find interesting ways, right, to kind of make that happen? And I think episode 1 kind of failed there a little bit.
Yeah.
Right.
But I think episode 2 did a much, much better job. I think it was a lot tighter, and it did some really interesting things.
Right.
I like when she's walking through the school in episode 2, right? Like the metal detector goes off like it did in the first episode.
That was great.
Yeah, kind of a parallel, right? And at first you see her walking through the halls like she's done it a billion times. But then she stops and kind of looks around and she realizes, wait, this is kind of different now, right? She goes into, the teacher's lounge area and then the principal's office where we just saw her last episode. And now things are kind of turned on their heel, right? That PA system that the principal was listening to the teachers on this episode. Yeah. Now we hear a zombie or something around it, right? So it definitely, I thought, did a good job of kind of ratcheting up that tension. Of course, when Pimple Face kid shows up and he's like, "Can I have my knife back?"
That was stupid.
I'm like,
I was like, seriously?
You can't get another knife by now, and a better knife at this point.
I'm like, dude, you were stockpiling all the cans of chocolate pudding in the school. You can't tell me.
Carl's gonna come after you later.
Right.
You can't tell me you didn't find another knife somewhere, right? But it's interesting. I haven't looked at like all of the cast. Is that kid going to be one of the main cast? Is he listed for this season?
Someone said the IMDb listed only him for 2 episodes, but I think that's just because they keep everything else under wraps, so we're not going to know until the next episode airs or subsequent episodes.
Gotcha.
I would like him to come back, honestly. I don't hate him.
I think it would be interesting, although we run into like he's like the king of exposition in a way, right? Like you guys were saying, he's the one that knows society's going to fall and this is what's going to happen. You know, I kind of want to see him die because he doesn't like understand the real world of how this is all going to go down.
I would have loved it if it had been like if they had used that character to kind of reference the fact that zombies have been a part of American pop culture for like 40 years.
I know.
And then you know, I would have liked it if maybe Walking Dead calls them walkers because they're over on the East Coast in the South.
Yeah.
And in LA, they're just going to call them fucking zombies because that's what they are.
Yeah.
So, you know, that would be nice.
You guys also notice what I thought was very interesting, and I've heard them talk about before, is you know, as The Walking Dead progresses and more time goes on, the zombies are much more like soft and everything. And when she was trying to kill the guy, like he was healing, so he like hit him with the knife and the knife bounced off.
Right.
You know, like whereas in The Walking Dead, they would hit him in, you know, they would punch him in the face and their face would explode.
Right.
He hit him in the knife, you know, in the head and it bounced off, and then she hit him with the fire extinguisher and it just sort of knocked off his head. You know, like they're humans still. They're much sturdier, which is a much bigger danger, and I think why you know, it's harder at first.
And I think that's one of the reasons why that scene did so much more for me than any fucking zombie attack in The Walking Dead nowadays, because it's like, we know they're squishy heads at this point. Like, you like use the Force to blow out a birthday candle, you could squish their heads, right? But in this case, so like the kid goes down, the zombie's on top. I'm like, okay, this is going to be easy. He's going to hit it on the head. Boom, we're done, right? No, she had to fucking go like brutal onslaught on that guy just to take down one. And one of my major problems with The Walking Dead is that the zombies are such a non-entity.
At this point, they really aren't. Unless they're in large groups, then it's going to, okay, I'm outnumbered. But yeah, one-on-one is super easy.
Right. So I thought that this did a great job of making me afraid for the characters. It really brought those stakes again. One thing that kind of bugged me, though, is like, this episode totally starts off and they're like, oh my gosh, we have to get out of LA, let's get our kids and get our stuff and get the hell out, right? But by the end of the episode, somehow we end up with everybody in like 3 different places. Everyone's cordoned off from each other. We're the furthest from getting out of LA, I guess, that you could be.
Well, the other thing that I thought was weird is they're like, let's go out to the desert. I'm like, the desert? Why would anyone go out to the desert? Like, it just seemed kind of odd. I guess maybe there's less people out there, but...
Well, I'm not that familiar with the geography of Los Angeles. Are they talking like Palm Springs?
I think so. I mean, when I say the desert, that's where I'm thinking. If you're in LA and you say, let's go out to the desert, you're thinking Palm Springs.
Palm Springs is already full of walkers, so that's
right, exactly. So it's kind of like, are you going to drive to Nevada? Are you going to go to Arizona? Like, what desert are you going to? Like, you know, I didn't know. That didn't really bother me that they were all sectioned off, because then it gives, they're all in different scenarios that have different levels of threat, and so I kind of like that. You can, so basically the mother, daughter, and son are in the suburbs, and so they're gonna have to deal with their form of horror of people that they've known forever turning into zombies around them, whereas, you know, the boyfriend and his ex-wife and kid are in the urban setting, so they're going to have to deal with that whole nightmare, and where the people are going to be the real problem if they can get out of there. So I like that. That's why I was really like, oh my god, okay, I cannot wait till next week, because, you know, those are 2 very different threats that are going to be really interesting to see how those characters handle those.
And I like that too. I really do. I think my problem with it is that the episode starts off on such a strong note of, oh my god, we've got to stay together, get everyone together, and let's get out, right? If it had just kind of started as like they didn't quite understand yet or something, and they went their own ways, and then they got sort of trapped and cordoned off from each other, I think it would have worked a little better for me. But I agree. I like the fact that we get to see 2 different settings now, right? Like that birthday party scene. Oh my goodness, that broke my heart.
I know. I was like, oh god, this is not going to end well.
I know. Like, the mom is like, oh, we're getting lots of cancels because of the flu that's going on, but they're like setting up the bouncy castle. I'm like, dude, your kid is going to be like zombie chicken nuggets in about 5 minutes.
Well, it's funny because I was reading a review of this, and I guess the reviewer had never seen Walking Dead. They're kind of like, well, now the question is, like, why are people who haven't been bitten, like, coming back automatically? And it's kind of like, we already know that. Everyone on Earth has been infected, and when they die, when they die, they turn. It's just a thing now.
Yeah.
And they... I kind of don't want more explanation than that, honestly.
I actually kind of hope the show does explore it a little bit. Just like maybe that's, where the show goes. I think the other thing I'd want from this show is for them to use the geography of LA to their advantage. I mean, one of the things, when you say LA, you're thinking, oh, this downtown or something like that. No, LA is like, you can go down to Hawthorne, Carson, or go up to, up to the northern parts of LA, the Valley, and then there's Hollywood, then there's East LA, there's West LA, Santa Monica, there's all these places that are part of LA County that are whole different areas and are really far apart, so you could really use the geography to your advantage, and explore that area for years to come.
Right. You really could. And there's some cool visual stuff that they can do with that, right? Like, can you imagine Zombie Venice Beach?
Yeah,
How
exactly.
cool would that be?
Not bad. If it wasn't shot in Vancouver, I could see them making better use of the locations.
Oh, that's right. Are they shooting in
fucking
Vancouver?
Canada? Yeah, because they didn't want to place their bets on the show that strongly, so they weren't going to pay California.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, they shoot in Vancouver.
Wow.
So, not going to see a lot of. You're not going to see them walking down Grauman's Chinese or anything. None of the hot spots, I don't think. So
that would be sad. If we never get that, but
I mean, maybe in the next season, now that I know it's a hit, maybe they'll spend a little money doing some pickup shots actually around LA. But I don't think they even did pickup shots around LA, but I could be wrong.
Interesting.
But something I do like that I don't know if it's really been commented on that much is it's another really a multicultural show, except for the fact that the first 3 zombies are black, and now there are no black characters left on the show. They all had to die first and become zombies. So it's like, oh, okay, we're going this road, Walking Dead. But I like that it's another multicultural show. I mean, it's LA, so of course there's a huge Hispanic population. There's many different cultures in LA, so I like seeing that.
Except for
they're continuing that tradition.
A white woman,
Oh yeah, but she's dating a Hispanic guy, and their kids, and her kids are biracial, and his ex-wife is Hispanic, and their kid is Hispanic. So she's the only white lead on the show.
So I totally was like, oh my god, it's Orange is the New Black. I love her. Yeah. It was awesome to see her pop up on the show.
But now I'm worried she's not going to last because she has to go back to New York to shoot Orange is the New Black. So
good point.
Yeah.
Good point.
But I'm crossing my fingers because I really love her, so I'd love to see her on another show.
That would be great.
Yeah.
So guys, this first season is only 6 episodes, right?
Oh, okay. So it's like the first season of Walking Dead then.
Yeah.
I think that's what I read, is that it's only 6 episodes. And
I didn't hear that. Okay.
And it's already on a break. No new Fear the Walking Dead.
I know, 2 weeks. I'm like, are you kidding me? You can't get me started and leave me like this. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. But it definitely sounds like we're all going to keep watching. Let's compare this a little bit with normal Walking Dead. I know we're only 2 episodes in, guys, but what's working better for you on this show so far? What do you
better
think?
Than the original Walking Dead?
Yeah, better than the original Walking Dead show. Is anything working better for you than the parent series?
Not really.
No, I think there are certain things that are comparable. I think in the second episode we talked about there's a really good sense of dread and atmosphere going, even in there's a really kind of a Southern Gothic atmosphere to Walking Dead. At least there was. It's kind of disappeared now. But when it started, it was very Southern Gothic. And it's interesting because now most of those scenes of dread that happened on the series happened, in the suburbs and then in school. So very familiar settings that all of a sudden feel very unfamiliar and very uncomfortable. So I really like that. And there wasn't a lot of that. There isn't really a lot of that on Walking Dead because it's basically post-apocalyptic. I mean, everything's kind of torn apart. So I do like that contrast where you're seeing something that is still pretty much normal and lived in being transformed. So I do like that.
Yeah, because we kind of skipped over that in The Walking Dead, right? Like Rick was asleep for 6 weeks or whatever it was, right? He wakes up, the apocalypse has already happened. Right. Steven, is it interesting for you to see this sort of happen piecemeal, like minute by minute, like the zombie apocalypse unfolding?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, that's sort of the I think the thing that would be interesting for the show to explore, and what I think I would enjoy is sort of watching society crumble. You know, like the government is going to try and figure out how to stay afloat. Everyone's going to go into survival mode. There's going to be a little bit of anarchy, but there is going to be some, like, maybe military force coming in, you know, because we see the remnants of the military force that came in, you know, in The Walking Dead. So, you know, that aspect comes in. So, you know, it'll be interesting to see, like, how everyone sort of, you know, crumbles on top of itself before it degrades, you know. And so I think that's going to be the fascinating thing. I think that's, you know, it's the fear of each other, not necessarily the zombies coming. You know, that's, you know, but the humans are going to be doing the worst damage.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Yeah, for sure. I'm anxious to see where this goes. I hope that they keep it interesting. I hope they do enough to kind of set it apart. What I don't want it to become is just the same show on a different coast.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Well, I think it'll be interesting because once we see these characters, like we saw it with Kim Dickens in the second episode, where she's kind of like, it took a while for her to hit her, like, I just had to destroy someone that I've worked with for years, and it finally hit her. And we kind of didn't get that a lot on Walking Dead, except in instances where, for example,
they
Carl
had
had to
sister
take his mom out, or something like that. But they'd already been through so much, and they killed people before. This first kill thing is kind of like, oh my god, you know. So that'll be interesting to see that kind of developing, and they kind of have to develop a hard shell. I don't want them to. I don't want another Rick though. I get what that kind of ties into what you're saying, where it's like I don't want another show on the same coast. Yeah, I don't want them to be so cold and hard, and I really don't want that to happen that quickly.
You know, one of the things that I think is super interesting, just from like a visual standpoint, is she goes into her like frilly bathroom with her frilly clean loofah sponge and all her soaps and everything. And, like, she's washing blood out of her coat, like, into her nice bathtub. Yeah. I kind of thought that was an interesting metaphor for, like, the world as we know it beginning to give way, you know what I mean, to what's coming. And in a way, she's almost like the opposite of Rick, in a way. Because, like, Rick wakes up, right? He wakes up, and he's trying to, like, be Mr. Policeman, truth and justice. Right. She's a mom trying to protect her kids. At the end of the episode, her daughter's trying to like run out to help the bouncy castle neighbor, and she like closes the door in front of her. She's like, "No."
I know. Oh my god! I was like, "Oh shit! It's all changed. It's all changing really fast."
Right. Oh. I'm like, if that was Rick and his crew, do you think they would have like done anything? Would they have run over and tried to help?
I think at the beginning stages, they would have.
Yeah.
Because they would have. Yeah. Especially because he knows how to deal with a gun. He's from law enforcement, but she's a guidance counselor. I mean,
yeah.
You know, she doesn't know what she's doing. But that's what makes it so interesting because she has this, you know, this psychology degree, and so it's kind of like, I really hope that they pursue that more, where she has a background in psychology and dealing with people, and so, you know, I hope she kind of has that struggle where it's like, oh my god, like this goes against everything that I know. You know, that I'm supposed to be helping people, and I'm not. I can't help anybody because I don't know what to do.
Yeah.
You know?
Indeed. Well, guys, any other thoughts on Fear the Walking Dead before we move on?
I don't think so.
No.
Damn you, AMC, for giving us a 2-week hiatus.
Yeah.
I know.
Actually, I mean, this is off for 1 week, but yeah, it's 2 weeks from Sunday.
Stupid Labor Day.
Yeah, I'm like, fuck you, Labor Day. Like, why would you not air an episode on Sunday? Because they could watch it and then stay up late and talk about it the next day. It doesn't make sense.
Right?
They could actually do 2 episodes back to back and have the show on until 11 or midnight if they wanted.
They could. They could even like show 8 episodes.
Yeah, just show it all. I mean? Just give it all to
Netflix
do the Netflix thing. It's all the episodes. Exactly.
Oh, goodness. Absolutely. Well, Fear the Walking Dead is airing Sunday nights on AMC. Of course, it won't be back next week, but the week after it will return. And it's kind of filling the gap until The Walking Dead starts up in October. Are you guys looking forward to the Walking Dead coming back?
Definitely.
Yes.
Yeah.
Such a great note. So, oh God, where do we go from here? That was a really good cliffhanger. It was a really good way to end the series, end the season.
Definitely, yeah. I'm anxious to see what happens with that whole Alexandria plot and all that good stuff. So, have you guys been? Oh, go ahead.
I was thinking about that today. I was like, well, now they're up in Northern Virginia, where I am now, and I was wondering, I would love to see some snow zombies. Like, I would love them to have a winter part of the show and have some zombies and snow, because that's a really good combination.
Yeah.
Zombies and snow. Yeah, that'd be good.
Do you want to build a zombie snowman?
Yeah, that'd be so cute.
That would be awesome.
Actually,
right?
something else I forgot. Apparently, so AMC is doing a web series where it's tied into this Fear the Walking Dead, where it's a bunch of people on a plane, and it's kind of like World War Z, where there are a lot of zombies on a plane or whatever, and there's going to be one survivor from the whole plane, and that survivor will become a regular character on Fear the Walking Dead. So now they're trying to like create some synchronicity between their website and this show, and I don't know when that starts, but yeah,
that'll be interesting.
I'm interested to check that out when that happens.
Well, I was thinking about that when at one point she looked up in the sky and she saw like a plane go by or something. I was wondering, like, are you going to see the plane go down or something? But maybe she's looking at the plane because that's the character, in the web series.
And that's going to be the first shot of the web series. It's going to have her look up and then zoom in on the thing. Oh, that's what's going on.
It could be. Who put these motherfucking zombies on this motherfucking plane?
Exactly.
So here's...
I'm intrigued by that. Yeah, I'd watch it.
Here's my fear. Are we going to get too inundated with Walking Dead stuff at this point? 2 series.
Aren't we already?
Yeah. I'm getting there. I'm almost at my limit.
Are you?
It's reaching maximum saturation point. Yeah. I'm like zombies
and
kind
vampires.
I just kind of want this to be the zombie thing. I don't want any other zombie stuff anywhere. It's like
Stick a fork in the zombie.
Stick a fork in the zombie. It's done. Yeah, exactly.
All right, guys. Well, let's move on. Let's dish a little bit of MeTV. It's been a while since we've gotten together. It's funny. I love doing this with you guys, but a challenge that we run into, is time, right? With TV shows, they're kind of a time investment. But also, B, our interests vary, so we're not always watching the same stuff, right? So that's why MeTV is a great segment. We get to talk about sort of individually what we're enjoying. And for me, I got to tell you guys, you know that I love Survivor. That is not a secret. I am jonesing for Survivor to come back. I've been watching Big Brother. It doesn't fill the gap. Sorry. It just doesn't.
Yeah, I agree.
But
so that's not your MeTV then.
It is not going to be my MeTV. So, guys, Naked and Afraid has been doing something interesting. I don't know if you've been following it at all. It's been back for a few weeks. They're doing something called Naked and Afraid XL. And it's sort of a Survivor style. They've taken 12 people this time. Instead of the normal, like, man-woman pair, they've got, like, 6 guys and 6 girls. And they've got to survive for 40 days as a group. Out in the wilds, no food, no clothing. And so it's kind of been like Survivor in a way. Like each episode is like, I don't know, like a week or something that they're out there. And some people are tapping out and leaving, and some people are, staying in. And there's all kinds of crazy like interpersonal conflicts that are happening because you're fucking starving and naked. And if you haven't been watching it, I don't know. Maybe catch up if that sounds interesting.
That sounds interesting, actually.
Yeah, it's kind of fascinating, actually. One of the things I loved about early on Survivor was was the survival element, right? Like the psychology of people when they are hungry, when they're constantly wet, like when they're miserable, right? You strip away the creature comforts of humanity, and you get the dregs that are left, and that's the real you in a way.
Right.
And to see 12 people going through this all at the same time, kind of like, man, Survivor used to be a little bit like that. I still love Survivor, but they've got it really cushy now. They can win.
Yeah.
They really do. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah.
Like
so
the second challenge is a reward challenge with beds and inflatable beds.
I know, right?
Yeah. It's like, I remember when it used to be like, here's some extra flint, or like, here's a fishing net. Oh, thanks. Yeah. Right.
Now it's here's a fucking hammock.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Here's a personal chef for 3 weeks.
Right. Can you have these guys rough it a little bit more?
Right. So anyway, Naked and Afraid XL is definitely doing cool things.
Nice.
I got to say, as a bear lover and an otter lover, there aren't any chubs for me to enjoy, sadly, on that show. I like them all.
They're not camera friendly, I guess, in industry talk.
I know, but I've been getting some fun bear and otter butt eye candy. I won't lie, that's one of the reasons I watched the show. So, you know.
Nice.
I wish they would have an uncensored version.
I know. Even like the Blu-ray seasons are blurred out. Like I want to see
Well,
Naked
that's
and
not
Afraid full frontal. At least,
Yeah.
you know. I don't know. I think that could be interesting.
Triple XL.
But there you go.
I know you said Naked and Afraid XL. I was like, oh, so it's like mega hung guys that like go to Naked and Afraid or something. But I will definitely watch that. I mean, I love that show to begin with. I didn't even know they did this new version. That sounds great.
Yeah, I had no idea. Like, I just looked in my DVR the other day because we started recording Fear the Walking Dead, and it's like Naked and Afraid, 4 new episodes, and I'm like,
Oh.
what? And so I'm like, oh, they must be like rerunning because the season just ended a couple months ago. But no, it's this new thing they're doing. So
Wow.
definitely check it out.
Oh, if it's on demand, I definitely will.
Yeah, maybe it's on DirecTV on demand.
Yeah, you'll have to look for it.
Yeah.
Well, Steven, what about you? What are you watching these days? What's got you excited?
One of the new shows that I've been watching, because I thought I'd give it a shot, it was one of the things that we were possibly discussing, maybe watching on this show, and I was kind of excited because I went to this cinematography course a couple weeks ago. It was taught by this guy, Alex Buono, who is the director of photography for all the film unit stuff for Saturday Night Live for the past like 15 or 16 years.
Oh, wow.
And so whenever they would go off and shoot, like when they would do commercials or something like that, he's the one that would shoot those. And so he was teaching this course because he was saying, like, I get a script on Thursday, and by Saturday we have to have shot and edited, a lot of times they're trailers, they're fake trailers, and it's like, it's got to look like The Maze Runner, or it's got to look like, this commercial or this, thing. And so he's got to really figure out how to quickly get that look down. And so he's like, I'm going to teach you some of the techniques that I do to break things down and what lights I use and camera stuff. And it was a really cool course, but the whole time he was saying, listen, I really want to push, I've got this new show coming out called Documentary Now. And, it's one of the best things I've, done, and I'm really excited and proud of it. I was like, oh, I'll check it out. It's interesting. It's got Bill Hader and, what's his name? Fred Armisen, and who I love, both of those guys. Mm-hmm. And, IFC always has these surprise hits sometimes. And, like, a couple of days before it was going to be on the air, it was renewed for 2 more seasons. So the people behind, at IFC were like, we saw the first couple episodes, we love it so much, we're renewing it for 2 more seasons before it even airs. I'm like, oh wow, it must be really good. Then Amy Schumer tweets about it, and it's just like, this is the funniest thing I've ever seen. You guys gotta check this out. I'm like, I'm so excited for it. And then I watched the first episode. I'm like, this sucks.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
It was, to me, it was more about technically achieving. What the show is they take a really famous documentary and parody it each episode. So like the first one was parodying Grey Gardens, and I love Grey Gardens. I think it's a fascinating look at those 2 characters, those 2 people, and and so they, really tried to find a location that really looked like it. They really tried to do the affectations and the dress and the style of shooting and the, certain quintessential scenes from the movie and stuff like that. But it wasn't funny. I mean, there were funny little bits here and there, but as a whole, it just wasn't funny. And, we were kept on waiting for it to get funny. And then at the end, it took this sort of Blair Witch twist. And it was like, I don't know what the fuck is going on.
Right.
And I watched the second episode, and the second episode was sort of parodying Nanook of the North. And again, they were sort of like parodying certain elements, and there were a couple kind of funny moments, but for the most part, it just wasn't funny. And so I don't really get it. I don't get, is it over my head? I don't know. So
no, it's not. You know what it kind of reminded me of, like epic movie or date movie, where like the joke is, it's supposed to be funny because, oh, I recognize that. Oh, it's funny because I recognize that. It's not funny because it's funny. They're like, see, don't I look like little Edie? This is funny. I can say anything and sound like her, and it's funny. No.
The hard part is how many people have seen all these documentaries. I mean, I've seen a lot of them because I went to film school, and and I'm a fan of documentaries, so I've seen a lot of these documentaries, but I'm not going to have seen them all. And so when we get to those episodes where I haven't seen the documentary, if I'm not recognizing that stuff, it's definitely not going to be funny to me.
Right.
So you have to make something that is funny on top of parodying the thing, because
if it's too close of a parody, it's not going to be funny. Yeah, if it's too insider, it's definitely not going to appeal.
And it's very insider.
Yeah, it's a little too insider.
Yeah.
So, Steven, are you going to keep watching it then, or
probably not? It's one of those things where I get why the DP guy was so excited. I mean, it's a technical achievement for him, and so he's like, "Oh my God, I was having to shoot on all these different styles and really, push myself, and so I can see why it was exciting for him. But as a show itself, it's just not entertaining to me."
It's is it? Yeah, it's not like good entertainment tonight.
No.
No.
Oh goodness. All right, Casey, what about you, my friend?
I do. What was I going to mention? Oh, well, I just have to say before I say what my show is, I was so irritated that they showed this and they renewed it before even airing it, and they canceled Garfunkel and Oates on IFC.
Yeah,
which was
exactly.
Hilarious, super funny show. It's all on Netflix, so that's a free plug for y'all. So go see Garfunkel and Oates on Netflix, and they canceled that, and they renewed this for 3 fucking seasons.
Yeah.
Based on what? So yeah, I'm sorry, I just had to say that.
Yeah.
The series that I watched that I didn't watch the most recent one, but they aired 2 episodes of it back to back. It was Blunt Talk on Starz, which is Patrick Stewart's new show, and it was getting a lot of press because it's the guy. They said it was created by Seth MacFarlane, which isn't technically true. I don't think he's the executive producer, and he's worked with Patrick Stewart on American Dad, and I think he's done Family Guy stuff. But it's actually done by what's the guy's name? The guy who did Bored to Death for HBO. So it's kind of like more of a slow burn kind of humor. It's not slapsticky or raunchy or anything like that. So Patrick Stewart is the funniest ever on this show. It's the funniest thing he's ever done, where he plays this kind of egotistical news anchor. Kind of like a Peter Jennings kind of guy, or like a Wolf Blitzer.
I thought they were trying to model him after that British guy that took over for Larry King.
Oh, Piers Morgan?
Yeah.
I could see that. Yeah, I could definitely see that. But he kind of has this right-hand man who fought in the war with him, and he's actually this really hot kind of chubby British guy who is revealed to have this giant dick in the second episode. And he does nudity, and it's great. But it basically just follows. He's kind of like having a midlife crisis. He doesn't know what he's going to do, and he just has a habit of getting into trouble, and it's really good. It's Patrick Stewart being he plays a lot with his image of kind of the urbane Englishman, And there's a cameo by Data in the premiere episode.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of little references to his past career, Patrick Stewart's past career. I really like it. It's on Stars. I don't know. I don't know what the ratings are like. I don't know who's watching it. The only Star show that's been a hit is Outlander. But I think this is a really worthwhile show. I think it's really funny. Very, very cleverly written, and Patrick Stewart's great in it. There's a really good scene in the second episode where he's trying to go to the bathroom, and it's crazy. Patrick Stewart, who knew he had like slapstick comedy things? Like it's kind of like a Buster Keaton or Charlie Chaplin kind of scene where like anything that could go wrong does go wrong. And yeah, who knew? I only know him from his dramatic work, and so it's a really eye-opening show.
I saw the first episode, and I haven't seen the second episode. I really liked it, and I think what makes him so good in the show is he plays it straight. He's not trying to be funny. He's playing this character straight. It's just the situations and the way he comes off is very funny. It's just it's really well done.
Yeah, no, I really like it. I need to watch the third episode, but yeah, that's kind of like an under the radar find for the end of the summer TV. Yeah, definitely worth watching.
I'm definitely looking forward to checking that one out. I have loved Patrick Stewart for many, many, many years. Of course, his work on Star Trek is amazing, but he's done some great voice work as well, and I'm interested to see it. Is the third episode out, though? Because I see September 5th as being the air date for that one.
Oh, maybe they didn't air it yet, because it airs on Saturday nights on Stars, which that's like their night. That's when they aired Outlander too.
Gotcha.
And so they pick that night of all the weeks to air their stuff, which I don't know if it's a good or bad decision yet. But I thought it aired this past Saturday. Maybe it didn't, because they aired 2 episodes back to back.
Maybe.
I'm not sure.
I don't know.
If it isn't available, I'm excited. That means that I'm still on schedule.
You're still on schedule. Nice.
I'm not behind on that.
Yay! All right. Well, guys, let's talk about some plugs real quick. Let's talk about some plugs as we look to wrap up. Casey, why don't you? I know you've got some plugs that you've been holding back for 2 weeks.
I actually only have one. Isn't that crazy?
What? It's your birthday. It's your birthday.
Get some
you
free
get at
birthday
least
plugs.
3.
Well, the plugs that I want for my birthday didn't arrive in the mail, but whatever. So it's not the happiest of birthdays, but no. The one plug that I'm doing is tonight. Drunk History comes back on Comedy Central. I'm so excited. I was wondering when this 3rd season was starting because this show is so funny. The premise is essentially this comedian, Derek Waters, gets his friends, which are various different comedians or actors, rip-roaring drunk, and then sits them down in front of the camera, and they tell a very verbose and detailed story of a real history, real adventure in history or whatever. And those are reenacted by other comedians and actors who lip-sync to the voice of the drunk narrator, and it is so funny. And some of the most surprising people. Winona Ryder has done one. Laura Dern did one. Who's the guy who played Khaleesi's husband on Game of Thrones?
Oh, Khal Drogo.
Jason something.
Jason Momoa.
Who's gonna be
done one, and he's so
Aquaman.
good.
He's gonna be Aquaman.
Yes. Oh, I didn't know that. I love him. He's so good on the show, and he's doing another one this season. I can't wait.
Nice.
So basically every comedian in the world, and even some Oscar winners that you would never expect would ever do this, show up on camera and play different historical figures.
Yeah, a local DJ, radio DJ is going to be doing it, I think, this next season.
Really?
Wow.
Yeah, because they're friends with the guy who created it, and he's been talking about it a lot because he's never had a drink before.
Oh, well,
I've never been drunk before, and so it's
wow.
Yeah, so it's going to be his first time being drunk.
Wow.
So
I know Lisa Bonet has done a few episodes. Like, there's some really shocking people that show up to lip sync to these drunk people.
Nice.
But it's on right. It's starting in 2 minutes. From when we're recording this. I'm recording it, but I cannot wait. I'm so excited. This is like my favorite show.
I have to tape
awesome.
that. I forgot about that.
Yeah,
Awesome,
it's really
awesome.
good.
What a great birthday gift, right, for that show to return.
Yeah, it premieres on my birthday. I'm so excited. Oh, and I guess one other plug is happy birthday to Lily Tomlin from Grace and Frankie, because we have the same birthday.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I just got to see her in a Q&A when I went to go see Grandma.
I saw that.
It just happened. We went to go see Grandma because we're like, oh, let's go see a movie. Oh, Grandma's fine. I heard some good stuff about that. Let's go see it. So we went to go see it. And as they're announcing it, before the movie starts, they're like, oh, and there's going to be a Q&A afterwards with the director and Lily Tomlin. I'm like,
oh my God. Oh,
yeah.
I'm so jealous. Oh, I love her so much.
Right. Yeah, she was wonderful.
That's
Good movie, too.
I want to see it, yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
But that's not my plug.
Plug's not for Grandma?
No.
You're not going to plug Grandma?
Oh, God.
Ew, gross. Please don't plug Grandma.
Yeah. No. Oh, my God. I'm completely wait. You threw me off at the Grandma.
Threw you off.
Oh, no.
Do your plug, and then I'll come back to me.
All right. No problem. Think about it for a second. My plug is pretty easy. Heroes Reborn is premiering later this month. I'm very excited for that. I was a big fan of the first couple seasons of the original show, Heroes. I just wanted to throw out there, guys, if you have not seen Heroes yet, it is available on Netflix. You can shotgun all of the episodes leading up. Yeah, totally.
Awesome.
So I think that's what I'm about to do. I want to go back and rewatch that series. Wasn't as good in the last couple seasons, unfortunately, but I can't wait to see what they're going to do with this new sort of. It's not a reboot. It's like a sequel to the original series.
Yeah.
Sort of picks up like 5 years later, so I can't wait. I'm excited. Yeah. But check it out.
Too. Yeah.
Check it out on Netflix. Catch up. Steven, did you think of your plug?
I'm losing faith in your plug.
I know it wasn't that good of a plug anyway, but like I completely forgot what it was, and I don't know why. I mean, I haven't been watching. I was saying earlier, it's like I've had very little time to watch TV. I will say, I've plugged it many times before, but American Ninja Warrior, they're in the Mount Midori Ami finals. So last night was the first stage, and so I can't remember if it's on twice a week or just once a week right now. But they're going to be going through the final stages, and they keep on alluding to the fact that maybe we're going to get our first American Ninja Warrior. But I would be very surprised. Every year they're always claiming that, and then
they do that because they want us to watch.
Exactly.
Our national pride compels us to watch.
I always still think it's really funny when it's like some 5-year veteran, and it's the only guy who's made it to stage 4, and he's on the first round. He's kind of a little cocky, and he like falls on the very first obstacle, and you're like, what? He's out.
Oh goodness, nice. Well, guys, this was super fun. I'm so glad that our schedules matched up, and
I miss you guys.
I really do. I know. Me too. So we'll have to figure out when our next episode is. Maybe in a couple weeks when Fear the Walking Dead is back.
Yeah.
I definitely.
And when shows actually start premiering, because the fall season's coming up, so we're gonna have tons of good news shows.
I know.
Fingers crossed.
I was just looking at that release schedule. First couple weeks of September are kind of hit or miss, but then things start to heat up. We've got some cool stuff coming down the pipeline. So we're going to be heading into our busy MBP TV season.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm okay with that. The summer hiatus. Guys, my heart aches when we're not together.
I know. That's a bummer. This is what happens with summer. Summer, it's just, too much other stuff going on and not enough good shows to talk about, honestly. It's just the way it works out.
When it comes to TV, summer is a bummer. But
it generally
fall. So,
exactly.
All right, guys. Well, we are out for this time. We will see y'all next time. Take care.
Bye.
Have a good one. See you later.
Bye, guys. Enjoy TV.
Yo, he said it. Yes. Awesome.
Enjoy your TV.